Sundance changed my life last year, and it's going to change yours as well. If you're a film fanatic, a movie fan, or a cinephile, or just in general, just love seeing movies, this is the festival for you. Some of the most unique, imaginative, and some of my favorite films of last year all came from this festival. And, you know, I'm sad that it's not in person, but due to everything going on in the world, it's online. And more people are going to be able to experience Sundance for the very first time this year, and that's just awesome. So in this video, guys, we're going to be going down to my top 10 most anticipated films at the Sundance Film Festival. And as of right now, when this video goes up, tickets are on sale. So go check that out so you don't miss out on so many great sounding films. And also keep in mind, guys, even though I only have 10 films on this list, there are a ton more out there that I'm very much looking forward to. But if I had to narrow it down to 10, these are my 10 must-see films at the festival. And I want to hear your guys' as well, so make sure to comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts. Which ones are you looking forward to the most? As well as hit that like and subscribe button so you get tons of Sundance movie reviews, early movie reviews, TV, and geeky content over here on a daily basis. I'll be talking all sorts of that stuff over here every single day, because that's what we do over here. It's free to subscribe, so why not? Without further ado, it's time to get into my top 10 most anticipated Sundance films. So without further ado, let's get started. Coming down at my number 10 is The World to Come. The synopsis for this one is: somewhere along the mid-19th century American East Coast frontier, two neighboring couples battle hardship and isolation witnessed by a splendid yet testing landscape, challenging them both physically and psychologically. This film sold me on just the cast alone. You have Catherine Waterston and Vanessa Kirby, who Vanessa Kirby could be winning the next Oscar for Best Actress for Pieces of a Woman. So, I mean, you got to get excited for that, right? But in general, I've been really much looking forward to this film. I love that concept. I love that idea. And the performances in here, I'm already expecting to be out of the water trajectory for how great they could be. This is a drama that I've been solely looking forward to. Again, I want to see what Vanessa Kirby can do more in these dramatic routes instead of just action films. And she already showed me in Pieces of a Woman, and I can't wait to see what she does in this film. The acting, the directing, the writing, everything around this just sounds perfect. And for a Sundance film, count me in. Coming down to my number 9 is Knocking. This is one of the few horror films coming to Sundance this year, and it's about a woman who leaves a psychiatric ward after a nervous breakdown, only to start hearing mysterious knocking sounds in her apartment. That concept alone sold me. And while again, yes, there are, sometimes horror films at Sundance can go one way or the other. Some of the ones from the last year's festival definitely went one way where I liked them, and then some went to the way where I loved them, and some went to the ways that I did not like them at all. Knocking could be that, but when it comes down to all these horror films, horror is one of my favorite franchises, one of my favorite genres. I don't know really any of the cast and crew or director or writer on this, but I hear that concept. I like it. It sounds psychological, and psychological horror is my favorite type, so I'm in. Coming down to my number 8 is John in the Hole, which I'm very particularly excited for this one because Michael C. Hall, Dexter himself, is in this film, and it's about a coming-of-age psychological thriller that plays out the unsettling reality of a kid who holds his family captive in a hole in the ground. That thrilling element, again, that psychological tension like we mentioned off Knocking, comes about in this one, and I am sold for that. I want to see where this story could potentially go, where it could lead up, because it just sounds very unique, and I want to see where it could possibly end up going. And again, I don't know anything about the film, and that's what's great about Sundance. You take risks on the films you don't know most about, and then sometimes they surprise you and become one of your favorite films of the year. Looking at you, 9 Days. Last year, 9 Days blew me away, and I'm hoping one of these films will do the same. Coming down to my number 7 is The Sparks Brothers. This is a brand new documentary directed by Edgar Wright. And it's a documentary that profiles the brothers Russell and Ron Mael, who made up the influential but never chart-topping LA pop rock band, The Sparks. I am not a big documentary fan. It takes a lot for me to really get invested in one. But I'm so excited for this one because of the fact that Edgar Wright is directing this. One of the best directors working today. And going about a band that I've never heard of. And maybe I'm in the minority on that, but I've never heard of them. And now I want to hear all about them. I want to hear about their story told through the lenses and told through the direction of Edgar Wright. This is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see this documentary and see what Edgar Wright has in store for us. Coming down to my number 6 is Mayday. This film stars Mia Goth, who I'm a big fan of, and it's about Anna, who is transported to a dreamlike and dangerous land where she joins an army of girls engaged in a never-ending war along a rugged coast. Though she finds strength within this exhilarating world, she comes to realize that she is not the killer they want her to be. What is this movie about? I don't know. I'm getting vibes of like this ancient warrior type thing, but something that's very unique, different, and thrown away into a mystical land, and all those sorts of elements part together to make an interesting film that I am very much ready to take a risk on, and hopefully it turns out for the best. Before we get to my top 5, guys, make sure you're going to hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep talking movies over here on a daily basis, as well as comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts. Which film are you most looking forward to so far? Which is the ones is on your most list, and are you attending Sundance? Let me know down below in the comment section, as well as head on over to Sandwich on Films on how to see films early, and just a big thank you to you, and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. Down at my number 5 is In the Earth. This film is written and directed by Ben Wheatley, who just did a film that I wasn't the biggest fan of, Rebecca, but that was a remake. Any original idea this guy has done, I've been sold on so far, whether it's Free Fire and even High Rise. Now he's bringing back In the Earth, which is about as the world searches for a cure to a disastrous virus, which is pretty relevant to everything going on. A scientist and a park scout venture deep into the forest for a routine equipment run. This very much gives me vibes of an apocalyptic type stuff. In apocalyptic scenarios, I really like those type of movies or video games, and they always suck me into the world. The cast looks pretty intriguing on this, but it's truly Ben Wheatley's directing and writing that I'm most looking forward to see what he has in store for this film. He always makes unique concepts come to life, and I'm hoping he can bring back that same flair that he brought into Free Fire, a very unique film, into this apocalyptic drama. Coming down at my number 4, it's Prisoners of the Ghostland, which just sounds crazy, insane. It's an action horror thriller starring Nicolas Cage and Sofia Boutella, and it's about a notorious criminal who must break an evil curse in order to rescue an abducted girl who has mysteriously disappeared. I know nothing more than that. I just know the last time Nicolas Cage had a film at Sundance, it was this beauty right here, Mandy. And guess what? It turned out to be one of my favorite films of that year, and Prisoners of the Ghostland could potentially be this one. Nicolas Cage is a great actor, and he's been taking on some very experimental roles, some bad roles too, but some experimental ones at that. And if this film turns out to be anything like Mandy, where it's just very creative, nuanced, and just fits to Nicolas Cage's style, this could be a very off-the-walls, balls-to-the-wall action horror film that I'm all in for. 3 is How It Ends, the brand new dramatic comedy. On the last day of Earth, one woman goes on a journey through LA to make it her last party before the world ends, running to an ecstatic cast of characters along the way. This stars the likes of just Olivia Wilde and Helen Hunt, who, those two alone, sold me on the film. Like, just seeing that both of them were going to be in it, I'm sold. I want to see this film. I want to see where it goes about. And it just sounds interesting. It sounds fun. And it kind of gives me vibes of a dramedy that I've been kind of wanting to see for quite a while. And when it comes down to Sundance, there was quite a few that kind of had that same vibe to me, but How It Ends was the one that stuck out the most to me. Now, coming down at my number 2, guys, is Mass. Now, this looks to be a very intense drama about the aftermath of a violent tragedy that affects the lives of 2 couples in different ways. The reason that I'm most excited about this is because Jason Isaacs is in this film, who I am a major fan of him as an actor. I think he always comes in and commands the screen in such a commanding way, whether it's with his voice, his presence, or just his acting abilities. And the rest of the cast looks solid, but the fact that this film just, it stuck out to me once I read the synopsis. And I didn't read the actual synopsis, because that one, I feel like that's something I wish I would have saved to see what else. Definitely going into this film not knowing much, but I'm really much excited to see what Mask can bring about, especially within its performances, its ideology, and everything about that nature. It just looks out to be an emotional roller coaster, and I can't wait to bawl my eyes out. And my number 1 most anticipated film of the entire festival is Passing. And there's so many different reasons for why this is my number 1. Whether it's the directing and the writing is from Rebecca Hall. I love her as an actress. I can't wait to see what she does in this film. But also looking at the cast, you have Tessa Thompson as one of the main characters, one of my favorite actresses working today. Alexander Skarsgård as well, Bill Camp, Ruth Negga, who I love to death, and Andre Holland. This just looks absolutely to be a freaking wild card in the mix that could be absolutely fantastic. And I'm actually already predicting this will be my favorite film at the Sundance Festival. I am so excited for Passing. It's easily the one that I must see because of the cast alone, the directing alone, the concept alone, guys, about the unexpected reunion of 2 high school friends whose renewed acquaintance ignites a mutual obsession that threatens both of their carefully constructed realities. This just seems like an interesting film that's going to tackle certain themes in this type of passing, and Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga in the same exact film. God Just give me the film now. Guys, that's my top 10 most anticipated films at the Sundance Film Festival. I can't wait to hear what your guys' are. Let me know what tickets you guys picked up as well. Make sure to look out for tons of early reviews coming for a lot of these films. I'll be doing written and video reviews for each and every one of these when the festival starts and a little bit after, but I can't wait to talk about it all with you guys. Thank you guys again so much for clicking on this, and of course, until next time, stay classy.